Are you worried about her safety?
I mean, in a way, yes.
Yes.
Just because we can't find, the car or nothing like that.
Are you feeling worried or anything along those lines?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that at all?
Well, the reason I didn't report it or anything is because I knew the person who had her, and I didn't want them to run away with her. And as soon as they thought anything was going on, they just kind of vanished.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just worried about, like where they're at, what they're doing with her at this point in time.
So you do know who has her? You do. Can you tell us who that is, or you don't?
I can't release anything further about that.
So you do know who has her. Are you worried about her safety?
Well, now I am, because they won't answer phone calls. They've just kind of disappeared.
I've told TBI where to find her in Mendota. My mom took her to a campground and a silver camper, and if they don't go tonight, I'm going to go find her myself. I was trying to protect my mom, maybe in hopes, oh, well, she'd just tell them where Evelyn was. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, why didn't you report it missing earlier? Because my mom threatened me, and I just want her back. That's all I can think about is how much I just want her back.
What is up? It's Ikid Mel, and I want to talk about Evelyn Boswell. Have you heard of this story? I'm coming in on this pretty late, but this is a pretty crazy, messy, disgusting story involving a 15-month child that had a pretty crappy family around her.
Thing that we learned out here in speaking with the bondsman is that this family, or at least the adults around Evelyn, have all had some run-ins with the law, and
currently, I think there's 3 people locked up. So let me just line up the people first. Okay, we got the mother, Maggie Boswell, 18 years old. She was arrested for lying to police multiple times. She can't get her story straight.
The missing girl's mother's in jail, charged with making false reports as authorities grow frustrated with her ever-changing story.
We got Ethan Perry, which is the biological father, which is in Louisiana in some sort of military base. And in Tennessee, when you have a child out of wedlock, the mother just gets full custody. That's how it works over there.
Yeah, they had a baby out of wedlock in the state of Tennessee. The mother has full custody, so the mother would have full custody of the child.
Angela Boswell, which is the grandmother of Evelyn, which would be Megan's mother, which is somebody that was also arrested for driving a supposed stolen vehicle.
The toddler's grandmother also in custody, accused of stealing a car.
Then we got Tommy Boswell, which is Megan's father, which would be Evelyn's grandfather, and he's the person that actually reported the child missing, which is like, how does that even make sense? The mother, the grandmother, nobody else, but it took the grandfather to report the child missing. And then we got William McCloud, which is the grandmother's boyfriend. Undoubtedly, there's going to be information that I miss with this story because it's just a mess. But according to reports, the child was reported last seen in December 26th. And then the child was reported missing on February 18th, which is nuts in itself, 2 months after. Then the sheriff, Jeff Cassidy, stated that there was conflicting reports and that they believe that babysitter's account of when the child was last seen is more accurate, which was December 10th or 11th. So more lies, more conflicts. It doesn't make any sense. You would think that the child's parent would know where the hell this child is. Why didn't you report this child missing? Suspicious, red flag.
You know, this, like I say, this is unlike anything I've ever seen. We have to act really quick, and usually a 1 hour, 2 hour basis is when it's reported, but we're talking 2 months.
By the way, I should have mentioned that William McCloud was arrested with the grandmother of Evelyn because they were both in the car that was reported stolen, and the police were looking for this BMW. So we have Angela and McCloud, okay? And then we have McCloud's grandmother, which is a resident that was near this pond. This pond is one of the tips that was received, and police went to go check it out.
That body of water has a family connection to the multi-state Amber Alert, and that the little girl's grandmother may have been there in recent days.
Now, in a conversation with Mary McCloud, according to WCYB, she saw her grandson prior to the arrest on Friday. He asked her for money while soaking wet and claimed that it was from a pipe burst by a nearby hotel. The same night, William McCloud stopped by her house, and she remembered only seeing Angela in the car with no sign of baby Evelyn. I have never seen her before except on television. She's a sweet little girl. I don't know how anybody could hurt her. I hope she's alive. Now, check out this portion of the article that I thought was interesting. When Mary McCloud was asked about her grandson, if he could have any involvement within the disappearance of this child, she said he is devious enough, his record from youth up. He's been devious enough to be involved in something. Crazy, huh?
Pond took center stage in that search for the missing Tennessee toddler. Today, authorities say they found no sign of Evelyn Boswell.
Now, another part I thought would be interesting to talk about was the whole clip where I showed you in the beginning where the mother, Megan, states that her mother took the child to Mendota in some sort of silver camper, and that if you guys don't go, well, I'm going to go myself, while like smiling.
I've told TBI where to find her in Mendota. My mom took her to a campground and a silver camper, and if they don't go tonight, I'm going to go find her myself.
Interestingly enough, WVLT went out to search for those campgrounds and check out their interesting findings. Unsurprising from somebody that's a habitual liar, because liars live a lie. They always lie, and you can't even pay attention to anything they say because you will be on a never-ending goose chase. You let those people bury themselves.
WVLT News went to Mendota today. Didn't even find a campground. In fact, our crew was told by locals there isn't a campground in that small town.
So there was this news reporter that stated she spoke to the boyfriend of the grandmother, Angela's boyfriend, William McCloud. He called from jail. He stated a couple things like he's been cooperative, that he's given his DNA. He stated that he's only met Evelyn 2 times. And then he even made a statement that the grandmother hadn't seen the child, Evelyn, for quite some time, and that they've requested and tried to see. And supposedly, allegedly, the mother, Megan, could not come up with Evelyn for them to see her.
He says that was back in July. That was the first time he had met the little girl, and the little girl stayed with them at a motel for 2 nights. And he said that that was the last time that he had seen the little girl. He even claims that was the last time the grandmother saw the little girl, when she stayed the night with them again in a motel in this area. And he says since then, he claims the grandmother reached out to Megan asking, can I see my granddaughter? And in his words, he says that Megan could never produce the child.
The same reporter also stated that the grandmother, Angela, had some charges relating to children by not securely putting a child in a car seat, I guess the seatbelt, and then also with leaving a child unattended.
One being not having a child restraint in a car, and also leaving a child unattended at the time.
Now, in the latest news, which is really interesting, this is today, February 28th, 4 p.m., there was a search warrant executed at a mobile trailer home where they took a brown bag. Now, the details of this, okay, there was a man who lives in that mobile home where the search took place for Evelyn Bowell on this Friday afternoon. They took something from the scene. They pretty much searched throughout my house, but they really didn't take anything from inside. They just found whatever they did under the house, said Zachary Warfield. Warfield believes that Evelyn and her mother, Megan, lived at the trailer for quite a while, and that the investigators took something from under the trailer, a brown bag. They also said that the investigators were digging up soft ground near their mobile home. The mobile home park is located near Sugar Hollow Road on Buffalo Road. Online property tax records of Sullivan County list the trailer park. Lakeshore RV Park on Sugar Hollow Road is owned by Tommy Boswell Jr. Tommy Boswell Jr. is the brother of Megan, which is Evelyn's mother. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation said their agents were at the scene executing a search warrant. So pretty interesting. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this whole situation. It's horrible. I can't stand when there's adults causing chaos and the only person that really suffers is that child, right? That's possibly deceased. They're, by the way, trying to pass this Evelyn's Law where parents must report a missing child within 24 to 72 hours or something like that, which I think is great. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd even push another law, a waterboarding law or some sort of torture law for people that are suspected like this, that are giving misinformation, that we're going to enable some waterboarding and other torture tactics. We'll pull off their nails and everything else we got to do. Because what's going to happen now, it seems like, is maybe there was had some sort of involvement in here. So maybe they're going to be pointing fingers at each other and, oh, she did this, she did that. Kind of like the cupcake case where Patrick Stallwell and Derek Arisha, whatever you want to call that person, they're pointing the finger at each other. Horrible. Horrible. Oh, and by the way, check out Everyday Shenanigans. She's been covering this story since, I believe, day one on all the intricate details of this. So you can go check out her channel there. Thank you for the support. Comment, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Yada, yada, yada. Peace.